I just spent over $1,800 on this brand new Alienware gaming PC, as Dell's claiming that this new Alienware Aurora R16 will solve a lot of the issues that reviewers and technicians like myself have been complaining about for years. Well, I say that claim is not entirely true, because Alienware did make some good steps with the system, but they really aren't as impressive as Dell may want you to go ahead and think they are. So let's go ahead and run over the new design of this Alienware R16, then we can go ahead and go over the build quality and upgradability of the hardware inside, and then we can go and talk about the specs as well as the pricing of this rig that I ended up buying, and we can go ahead and see how well this stacks up against a nearly identical custom built system that I'm calling the Alien Slayer, to see if maybe you should buy this system or build one yourself. Here's a hint. Don't buy this one. Starting off the design of this new R16, Dell went to go ahead and change the design of the system quite a bit from the last 3 or 4 iterations of the Aurora series, moving the system to a way smaller form factor than before and focusing on GPU airflow. The system up front features a solid front panel with large side openings that lead to a single front intake fan, and I honestly wish there was more availability here to have another 120mm fan here, but I will say that these side openings, although are not ideal, they do allow for a decent amount of airflow and are better than some cases I've seen in the past. And I really want to say that they also do feature some really great external RGB that I do have to go ahead and compliment Alienware, because it does look pretty well, and I gotta admit that. The clear side panel of the case requires just one screw to go ahead and be removed, and I will say, although it looks like tempered glass, this is actually just acrylic with some wire meshing at the bottom to go ahead and allow for additional GPU airflow. Although the airflow side of things is actually great, the acrylic panel honestly feels really cheap, especially at the price point of a system like this. The rest of the case, I will say, honestly feels really cheap from the external side of things, and I have to say this is really where you can see how Alienware decided to go ahead and cut costs, and that's very common with these system integrators. Looking at the inside of the system, it also looks pretty similar to pretty much any other Dell system that you've seen in the past couple of years if you've opened any of them up. And starting from right to left, you'll go ahead and see that up front, you have a 120mm fan that leads directly to the vicinity of the GPU, as well as a 3.5-inch hard drive bay, which to me feels like they spent more work here focusing on cooling the GPU than the CPU based on this type of airflow intake. Below the GPU, you can go ahead and see the included power supply, and more on that in just a little bit. And the rest of the system is also pretty standard case-wise, with support up to a 240mm AIO up top and a 120mm ARGB fan in the rear. Now when it comes to the system from a technician's perspective, I have to say that this system for upgrades sucks. It's really not good by any means, as Dell, like in years past, decided to make the system very limited when it comes to upgrades. This stems from a number of factors, such as the proprietary size power supply, which means that you can't just buy one off the shelf and throw it back in if you have one that dies, or if you decide to upgrade your GPU. On top of this, Dell's ridiculous proprietary motherboard design not only makes it that you can never swap this out for a different one, but it also limits the amount of upgradability that you can do with only 2 M.2 slots, which is just kind of ridiculous. And surprisingly, for the massive size of this motherboard, there's only 2 DIMM slots. That means if you want to upgrade the system from 16 to 32 gigabytes of RAM, well, you can't just add 2 more sticks, you have to replace the entire kit. Speaking of the ridiculous proprietary design of this motherboard, as mentioned before, the included power supply also uses proprietary power connectors, meaning that if you want to diagnose your power supply, good luck trying to test out with a spare. This system, in my view as a technician from a repairability standpoint, feels like they almost took a step backward in recent years, which is really not what Alienware is trying to advertise with this new system here. With all my design and build quality as well as repairability thoughts out of the way, let's go ahead and see what you get for $1,750, which is what I paid at the time of purchase before tax. I chose the base spec at the time, and there are now some cheaper options out there, but what I ended up getting was the i7-13700F, cooled by a 240mm AIO, which looks to be an Asetek design, 16GB of RAM, an RTX 4070, and a 1TB NVMe SSD. All run surprisingly by a 500-watt power supply, which amazes me to see this, because I wouldn't put anything less than a 650 watt in a build like this, because under max load, for a 500-watt power supply, you're going to be running nearly 90+% on the load of that power supply, which typically is very inefficient for most power supplies. Besides the power supply, the rest of the specs in the system are just fine. I'd like to go ahead and see a 13700KF at this price point, but I know that cooling is a huge limitation, and Dell really doesn't like to go ahead and ship unlocked processors. With that said, I believe you can go ahead and build something nearly identical in spec that not only looks better in my opinion, but also will perform the same, if not better, in every single task, and have way more upgradability down the road. And this is where I'm going to go ahead and enter what I'm calling Project Alien Slayer, a PC build that I recently put together for this exact purpose. Here are all the specs of the system, and I'll have a full build coming out on this PC soon. But at the time of filming, I was able to source all these parts for about $1,450, which is $300 less than the Alienware Aurora R16. So I also was able to go ahead and throw in some cheap cable extensions for some added flair. With all that said, let's go ahead and look how well this Alienware rig runs against and compare it against the system that we just built ourselves for significantly cheaper. To start off with their testing, I went ahead and started with some really basic synthetic loads to go ahead and see how well the system runs in these benchmarks. For PC Mark X, which is a really great real-world test, I found that the Alienware was over 10% behind the Alien Slayer, which is really interesting to see because these systems are nearly identical in spec. And I also seen the same kind of behavior with Performance Test 11 from Passmark, where the Alien Slayer was once again ahead. Both of these tests, they're designed to really create real-world scenarios and are great to go ahead and see a wide range of tasks. So let's go ahead and dive deeper to go ahead and see maybe what's going on here, why this Alienware is performing so weak. So to dive deeper, I ran a couple common games like Call of Duty, which nearly had identical results between the two systems, but when I chose to go ahead and run Fortnite, I noticed that there was a huge gap between the two systems, as this Alienware gaming PC was actually almost 16% behind the other system, which is likely CPU related if I had to guess, because Fortnite is way more CPU dependent than GPU dependent like Call of Duty, meaning that there can be a little bit of a gap there depending on how well the CPU is actually performing. I also figured there could be a couple other things that could be causing this type of behavior, but what I wanted to go ahead and do was see if maybe it was heat related, because I think that's what's going on here. So after running some GPU and CPU stress tests, I found something incredibly interesting. The Alienware seems to go ahead and really struggle with any long CPU intensive run. Like when I ran a Cinebench 2024 CPU throttling test, which found a 29% gap between these two systems in the multi-core test. So I know at this point that the Alienware system must be throttling based on these results. But when you look at the temperatures of the system, I will say they're never really out of spec, as it never goes above 95 degrees, unlike our Alien Slayer, which will continue to boost past 95 degrees if it has headroom. Which is actually where I think something really fishy is going on here, because I noticed that the second that you put the Alienware gaming system under load, it instantly downclocks from about 5,000 megahertz to about 3,500 megahertz, instantly reducing the speed as soon as the system starts to go ahead and struggle with keeping under temperature. So with this said, I believe what's going on is that Alienware has tweaked the BIOS in some way to go ahead and limit the turbo frequency and reduce the power going into the CPU to not only so it doesn't peak at the 225 watts of power that the Alien Slayer does, but after it peaks, it'll drop down to anywhere between 50 and 80 watts under load, which is actually really weird. So if you want to buy something like this Alienware gaming PC and you're looking for the full performance of this 13700F, well, good luck, because you're not going to get it here. Because from my experience, there's a significant reduction in performance across all my benchmarks with this Alienware system here, which they don't really claim anywhere else. And this is all as a result of them trying to go ahead and keep the temperatures under control so they can go ahead and talk about that in their marketing material. As a reviewer and technician, this entire idea just makes me sick, because this form of feeling like it's a false advertising, I really just can't ever recommend this machine to almost anybody unless you're in a very specific case where you have to buy a Dell computer for your next purchase, which I know there are some circumstances like that, but there are plenty of better system integrators and local repair shops like mine, which would be happy to go ahead and build a system like this for you that's way better, and if you didn't want to go ahead and build it yourself. So with everything said, I just want to say thank you for everybody for watching, and if you guys want to see more of my experiences with Alienware systems in the past, go ahead and check out this video here. And if you guys also want to go ahead and wait till next week, you're going to see the full build guide for the Alien Slayer system that's coming out real soon. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a like, subscribe for more content like this, and let me know what pre-built system we should test out next, and I'll see you guys in the next video.